4 or 5 games in a week. We like to get an inning or 2 innings here and there for some sophomore, junior pitchers who may not otherwise get on the mound this year.
No one on your team has made the playoffs since they've been in high school. Do you expect that to change this season?
I would hope so. I did not know that statistic for them, but obviously it's an extremely rich tradition of success under Coach Hegg for a very, very long time. I would like the playoffs to be the ultimate goal this season, and then hopefully grow towards when the playoffs is not something you're aspiring to. You're expecting to win 2 and 3 and 4 games in the playoffs. It's a nice goal to have. I think it's attainable, and if the playoffs isn't your goal every season, then obviously you're doing something wrong.
Are there any specific practice methods that you changed this season as compared to last season?
Unfortunately, I didn't get as much of an opportunity as I would have liked to be at practice in the last couple seasons. I mean, I popped in here and there. I know the JV coach and the JV team and the varsity team last year were a little split more than they were. The one thing we've done a little more this year is kept the whole JV and the whole varsity together. For the standpoint of evaluation, it's good to see your entire program all at once. We brought the freshmen up a couple times to see us, and then as the season progresses, every so often I like to bring the freshmen up. I think it's good that the varsity coaches and the JV coaches know every single person in the program's name. So if we can bring them up and have somebody like Maddie McLaughlin, a freshman infielder, stand next to an Austin Clark or Kyle Bender, somebody who has been playing varsity baseball, it can only help them to play alongside guys who are older and are more experienced. So hopefully, as far as practice methods go, we'd like to see everybody a little bit more, and also I hope that we've been a little bit more organized, and the kids know that every day we come with a purpose and a goal, and there's certain things that we want to get done, and we move from pretty seamlessly from drill to drill.
With all the talent that you have this year, how are you going to approach the season as far as, like, are you going to be aggressive on the base pass at the plate, suicide squeezes, like that kind of stuff?
I think that obviously your talent will dictate your offensive aggressiveness. We have a lot of guys with a lot of speed. You have to, in the high school level, put pressure on the other team. You have to be able to bunt a lot. You have to be able to steal bases, hit and run, squeeze, do all those things. I think it's been a criticism that certain teams weren't as aggressive as it could have been. I think it's all things that need to be coached and drilled. I would love to be aggressive. Unfortunately, we haven't been so smart on the bases to start, so it's one of those kind of double-edged swords that everybody wants to scream and yell that you should steal more bags and you should bunt more and do this and that, but if you don't do things well or the right way, you kind of just run yourselves out of innings. So if we get better at base running and we get better at bunting and doing the little things, I think that we'll be extremely aggressive on the base paths and extremely aggressive at the plate, because my philosophy is always to limit the amount of strikeouts you have and put as much pressure on the defense as possible, especially when you're playing on high school fields and balls bounce all over the place, and as long as you're putting the ball in play, you're going to have the opportunity to score a lot of runs.
Come playoff time, can you think of anything that would separate your team from another team, allowing you to make a deep run in the playoffs?
One thing I do like is, and this for our school in general, for every sport, it's kind of one of our advantages. We have a ton of multi-sport athletes. So if you go around our starting 9, you have guys that have been in big games on the football field, big games on the basketball court, big games in soccer. So we have a lot of people who've played a lot of big games. I think that there's a lot of solid athletes, and there's no experience we can build on as far as playoff experience, like the previous question. So as far as preparing them for the first round of the playoffs, we'll prepare to win a baseball game, not prepare to win a playoff game. There won't be anything different as far as our approach goes. And hopefully we put them in position and put them in stressful positions that they rise to the occasion in practice and in games, and hopefully the situation arises in the playoffs. It'll just be naturally make that play in a playoff game as they would in any other game.
What do you mean by putting them in stressful positions in practice?